So in the interest of time, I will not be giving a detailed introduction, but we are going to share it on the WhatsApp, ISKCON Atlanta WhatsApp group. You can read. Gauranga Prabhu is a very senior devotee in ISKCON. He joined in 1993, more than 30 years ago. So let us welcome Gauranga Prabhu in our traditional way by 3 times loudly chanting Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Please keep your cell phones on silent mode, and for the next 1 hour 15 minutes, we will listen with rapt attention to Gauranga Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I need a watch. Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Bihari Jai Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradhari Jai Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradhari Jai Yasodanandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Sadanandana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jai Brajajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Jaya Kunja जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय सदानंदन जय जग जन रंजन जय जग जन रंजन जय यमुना तीरवनचारि जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारि जय कुंज बिहारी जय जगन्नाथ जय कुंज Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. Nitai Gore Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gore Hari Bol. His Divine Grace Srila Vaicharnaravinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Vivid Sansthavakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharya Shtodraksa Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Sri Giri Govardhan ki Brajabhumi Sri Vrindavan Dham ki Purushottam Kshetra Sri Jagannath Puri Dham ki Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Mai Jamuna Mai ki Bhakti Devi Tulasi Maharani ki Kaliga Pavan Harinama Sankirtan ki Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki ISKCON Atlanta Bhakta Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming this morning and organizing this satsang. So the whole Srimad Bhagavatam speaks about the process of churning the heart and transforming our consciousness. from anarthas, anartha nivritti to artha pravritti. Removing the influences of lust, greed, pride, anger, and then replacing that with feelings of love and devotion and spiritual greed. Bhagavat bhaktitah sarvam iti utsrijya vidherapi kainkarya krishna padaika ashriyatvam sharanagati. So sharanagati is defined as the process by which kainkarya krishna padaika, one fixes one's goal to be kainkarya, willingness to serve the Lord's lotus feet. Kainkarya, kinkara, what should I do? That mood, which is very difficult to actually implement and apply. Kainkarya. Krishna Pada Aika, exclusively at Krishna's lotus feet. What is the process? Bhagavat Bhaktitah Sarvam, accepting the process of bhakti as all in all. Iti utsrijya vidherapi, and third, giving up anything which comes in the way of that exclusive devotion. Utsrijya vidher, giving up even Vedic rules and regulations which may impede in the process of exclusive devotion, of responding to Krishna's request. As we see in the case of the Brahman Patnis, that Chaturvidham Bahugunam Annam Adaya Bhajanai Abhisasrumadam Sarvas Samudram Ivanimnaga. And Krishna sent a message, I need the bhoga, I am hungry. So the Brahmanas were steeped in their idea about what time and at what particular moment this is allowed to be given out. They forgot that Krishna is the recipient and the enjoyer of the yajna, and Krishna is the one who is sending the message for that bhoga. But just that the messenger of God can come in different forms at different times. And so if we are stuck in our stereotyped idea that the Lord's message must come in this form and the Lord's messenger must appear in front of us in this form, then we will not catch the essence. And so the wives of the Brahmanas, they were not scholars of Sanskrit, but they caught the essence. And so whatever they had cooked, Chaturvidham Bahugunam Annam Adaya Bhajanai, 4 types of food with all kinds of divine qualities which had been cooked by them. Annam Adaya, they loaded all their items on a bullock cart. Bhajanai, not that they gave some token, that okay, we will send to Krishna small drone and remaining we will send to the yajna. So we will balance both. How can we help him and him both? So we always try to balance. But bhajanai, the full pots were loaded and sent. Nothing remained for the yajna. That's why sometimes Hare Krishnas are considered extremist. If a boy goes to any regular temple, they say, okay, no problem. Comes to Hare Krishna temple, hey, be careful. Why? Yad gatva na nivartanta. The person will not return with the same habits the same thought process, something or the other will change. So therefore, samudram iva nimnagaha. The Brahman wives approached Krishna just as fast-moving rivers approach the ocean. Which means there may be impediments, but they did not allow those impediments to create obstacle in their desire. Nishidhyamana patibhir bhratribhi bandhubhi saha. Nishidhyamana, they were stopped by their husbands, bhratribhir by their brothers, bandhubhi by their relatives. Bhagavati uttama shloka dirgha shruta dhritashaya. But although they were stopped, they could not be stopped. There were attempts to stop, but they could not be stopped. So yes, when we embark in the process of bhakti, there will be various question marks raised. There will be various external and internal obstacles, external and internal efforts to put roadblocks in our process, which is to be expected. But dirgha shruta dhritashaya. And when these obstacles come, we should not allow these obstacles to act as barriers. We may sometimes become helpless because of these obstacles, but a devotee never becomes hopeless. To be helpless is bona fide, but to be hopeless is not the DNA of a Vaishnava. And therefore, a devotee always remains hopeful even in a state of helplessness. Just like Prabhupada, he tried a lot to spread Krishna consciousness in India. And it's not that he didn't try. He would give books, he would give literatures, he would invite politicians. Various efforts he made. But Krishna had other plans. He gave Easy Journey to Other Planets, small book, to his friend in Jhansi. Prabhupada was the original book distributor. Shastrakat came later. So, when Prabhupada gave the book, his friend looked at the book and, asks him, what will I get by reading this book? So Prabhupada said, Arey, you read this book, you will go to Golok Vrindavan, spiritual world. Easy journey to other planets. The friend says, after going to Golok, can I come back to Jhansi? So these were the questions being asked in the land of Bhagavad Gita. So it is very easy for someone to think, Arey, what is the point breaking your head here? And in 1922, Saraswati Thakur gave the instruction. And in one meeting, and a passing remark. So he could have easily put that instruction somewhere, in the back burner. And say, none of my senior god brothers are cooperating. They are all fighting in the courts. Those who had 3 decades of association, they are fighting in the courts. I hardly had association. Why should I take that one line so seriously? So the important thing in eating is not the menu. Not the menu and not the variety. Menu may be whatever, which is also important. But what is more important is the hunger. If the hunger is not there, what you will do with all that elaborate food? So like that people say, I am not inspired here, I am not inspired here, I am not inspired there, I am not inspired there. So what you are going to do? Go to sleep. The most important thing is that you are not looking at your own appetite. So the Avadhut Brahman in 11th canto got inspired by 24 gurus, including Pingala the prostitute, including the 5 elements, including a pigeon. That means if you are ready to be inspired, you can be inspired by anyone and in any situation. But if the hunger is not there, then even after you toss the chappan bhog in front, you cannot force somebody to eat. So therefore, Bhagavati Uttama Shloka Dirgha Shruta Dhritashaya. Dirgha Shruta Dhritashaya means because of hearing about Krishna for a long time, the Brahman Patnis had conviction about Krishna's qualities. That Krishna is a person with whom if we develop relationship, our future is secure. Kamva dayalum sharanam raji. Krishna is full of divine qualities. Sarva loka sharanyaya raghavaya mahatmane nivedayatamam kshipram vibhishanam upasthitam. So when Vibhishan comes to do his sharanagati in front of Lord Ram, he is declaring, my dear Lord, you are giving shelter to the whole universe. Sarvaloka Sharanyaya. Raghavaya Mahatmane. You are a Mahatma, you are Raghav. Nivedayata. Please accept my plea. Kshipram. Quickly. Why Kshipram? Because that desire to surrender and the desire to accept Sharanagati is like a spark which ignites after millions and millions of lifetimes. So traditionally, when you do yajna, they would always use RNA sticks for bringing out the fire to start the yajna. Yajna would never be traditionally started just with a matchstick or with lighter or with any other artificial means. And I had the good fortune of seeing such one yajna we had organized at the Eco Village, and very, very traditional group had come and they were doing that with the sticks, and it took almost 1.5 hours to have that spark. Initially, I just thought it's a joke. Maybe they will do like this, and put fire from outside and then, say it's done. I couldn't believe that they are actually trying. I asked them 100 times one day before, because I was worried about schedule. Because we are always like, okay, this time it starts and this time it ends, and the prasad has to happen at this time. And if this fire itself will take 3-4 hours to burn or start, whole schedule will be off. So I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. So they were doing and then there was like a small spark, and as soon as that spark comes, then they have some other inflammable thing which catches, and then they do it. So it is done. So it takes a long time for that spark of Sharanagati to manifest. after many, many millions of lifetimes. Many millions of lifetimes. And therefore it cannot be taken for granted. It's a very, very rare phenomena. So Vibhishan is saying, it has taken so long for this spark to ignite. And the spark is so small, I'm afraid it will be extinguished soon. Nivedayat mam kshipram. So therefore, please accept me quickly. Otherwise, if you are thinking, should we accept Vibhishan or not? Oh, he's Ravana's brother. Let us have a meeting. And, let us see what happens in the meeting. And in the first meeting, no outcome comes. The next meeting. But then in this whole process, I will be tempted to go back to Lanka. Somehow I have given up Ravana and come here. But that whole vairagya or detachment towards Ravana and Lanka should not be considered to be sthayi, to be permanent. That just because I have given up Lanka and Ravana doesn't mean I'll be able to give it up forever, unless there is a positive anchor. Nivedayat mam kshipram. Please accept me quickly. Because a window has been opened in time and I have to take advantage of that window of opportunity. If I lose it, I lose it. Amanistarite tomar iha agaman paramo dayalu tumi patita pavan. When Ramananda Rai meets Lord Chaitanya, he says, you have appeared here to deliver me. You are Parama Dayalu, supremely merciful. You are Patita Pavan. You are deliverer of the fallen. So then he defines who's Patita. So many times we think Patita is, somebody who's engaged in this activity, that activity. But this is very specific definition of Patita. Vedanishta madhye ardhek ved mukhe mane vedanishidh papa kore dharma nahi gune. He says Patita is one who knows what is the Vedic literature, what is to be done, what is not to be done. In spite of knowing what is to be done, what is not to be done, still he does not rally enough determination to say no to the temptations and succumbs to it. And repeatedly does that. He is Patita. Veda nishiddha papa kore dharma nahi gane. Without considering the principles of dharma. I was doing a kirtan, and everybody was clapping their hand, and one guy sitting right in front was not clapping only. And I was kind of, inspiring. Chant, chant, clap your hands, all your sins will fly away. All our philosophy, but no effect. He was completely udasin. Everybody was in kirtan mode, he was in some meditative mode. So after the program, he took prasad, and then I saw him in the corner. He had tobacco in his hand and he was hitting his hand like this. So I approached him and said, "Arey, kirtan mein tali nahi baja, tambaku mein." So enthusiastic in eating tobacco. He says, "Prabhu, ये तंबाकू नहीं है. It is not tobacco." What is this? बोला संजीवनी बूटी है. This is Sanjeevani. I said, "What? Are you mad? How can this be Sanjeevani?" Yeah. When my grandfather used to teach me Ramayana, in between he would take a break and he would eat this. And I asked him, he said, "This is what Hanumanji brought from the Himalayas, and by smelling this, Lakshman got awakened." that is another problem, where there is a philosophical commentary for gratification. And therefore, rationalization is the use of intelligence in the service of false ego. So therefore, Ramananda Rai says that you are Patita Pavan. And then he says, quoting Nanda Maharaj's verse, when Nanda Maharaj saw Gargacharya, Mahat Vichalanam Ranam Grihinam Dina Chetasam Nishreyasaya Bhagavan Nanyatha Anyatha Kvachit Kalpatena Anyatha Kvachit Mahat Vichalanam Ranam. O Gargacharya, great souls like you are always traveling the whole world. Dina Chetasam, in order to expand people's consciousness. Nishreyasaya, for their welfare. And so Ramananda Rai says, Mahanta Swabhava ek tari te pamar Nija karya nahi tabu jata raghar. It is the Swabhava, the nature of Mahatmas, to deliver the souls, even though they do not have any own personal agenda. Still they travel. Why? To give this knowledge, to ignite this fire of Sharanagati. So therefore, Vibhishana says, Nivedayata mam kshipram, quickly, Vibhishanam upasthitam. And so, Vibhishan comes with 4 associates. And these 4 associates represent the 4 limbs of Sharanagati. Akinchanatvam, I possess nothing. Ananyagatitvam, I have no other destination. Saralta, I have full faith that the Lord will accept anyone and everyone, irrespective of their background. There is only one place where full employment is guaranteed without background check. You can't imagine in corporate, right? So the CEO himself is the HR head also. So the Lord himself directly takes care. No background check. Saralata. Right? And when Sugriva is objecting, my dear Lord, Lord Ram, you are accepting Vibhishan. He's the brother of Ravan. He's coming from Lanka. He could be a spy. He could be doing this, he could be doing that. So Ram looks at Sugriva and says, hey, who are you talking to? Huh? Pishachan, Dhanavan, Yakshan, Angul, Jagrin, Tan, Sarvan, Ichan, Hariganeshwara. With edge of my thumb, I can crush the whole universe, including you. So, I'm not afraid of anybody. If he is Ravana's brother, let him come. You have any idea of my power? You are saying this will happen, that will happen. He will put fire in our camp when we are sleeping. He may be putting poison in the food. He may be like this, like that. Okay. I am taking care, okay? You are still standing because of me. And so he says, Anayenam harisreshta asyam datta bhayam maya vibhishano va sugrivo yadi va ravana swayam. Ram says, Sugriv, forget Vibhishan. Go out and see that behind Sugriva, behind Vibhishan, how many other people are standing for Sharanagati? If there is a line of people waiting for Sharanagati, Anayanam, call all of them. I am serving prasad. All are welcome. And if behind Vibhishan, if Ravan is standing also, he is also invited. Yadiva Ravana Swayam, if personally Ravana is also standing right now and willing to surrender, I am willing to forego and forgive whatever he has done, and I will give him Sharanagati. And then he quotes the famous verse, Sakradeva Prapanno Yastava Asmi Itiyache. All a person has to do and come and say, my dear Lord, I am yours. Tava Asmi. Sakrid. Sakrid means very casually, suddenly, in a good mood. You know, someday you may be in a good mood. You got a promotion or you got a bonus and you come in front of Krishna and say, I am yours. And the Lord takes it really seriously. And in a month's time, you know, you are relieved of your job. He says, Arey, how did I lose my employment? Because the Lord took your prayer very seriously. I am yours. And the temple needs a pujari. So I was not serious. That day it was a good mood. I just said, I am yours. Sakrid. So you have to be very careful what you pray in front of the Lord. Abhayam sarvada tasmai. Such a person can become abhayam. Completely fearless. Svairacharabdhi samagnan jivan gaurangri pankaje udhritya shanapakter mahatmyam samajivayat. So the jiva is engaged in whimsical, independent decision making. Svair achar. So the whole context of bhakti is trying to purify the desire. That's it. That is the product, which is the focus, right? It's a refinery. That's like you have oil refinery, water refinery. Refine, purify. So therefore, Swair Achar means the desires are mixed with millions of independent desires to enjoy. So two kinds of desires. Desires to gain pleasure and avoid pain. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko natair sukham va dukhara. So vindeta bhuya tata eva dukkham. So that's what is the question of Vidura to Maitreya Rishi. People are always making efforts to do two things: increase pleasure, avoid pain. Increase pleasure, avoid pain. But in spite of all of their efforts, somehow they are not successful in that. Neither pleasure is increasing, neither pain is decreasing. So therefore, Svairachar is that independent. One is trying whimsically on one's own. Svairachar abdhi, And it's not just a small pool of desires, it's an ocean of desires. Abdhi and Sammagnan, one is completely immersed. Jivan. So these jivas need to be rescued. That's our task. To first rescue ourselves and then rescue others. Gaur Angri Pankaji. And how do we do that? By placing these souls at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. Which means one becomes ready to serve only his desires. So when you say lotus feet, so one should not think, some lotuses will come on your head and you will feel nice. It basically means we direct our desires only to serve their will and eradicate other desires. Mahatmyam samabodhayat. And therefore the gurus, the spiritual teachers' task is to samabodhayat. Somehow convince the soul who's drowning in such an ocean of desires. Come out of that. And just have faith that by keeping aside your own selfish desires, you will still progress and be happy. You will experience unlimited freedom in divine slavery. One may think, how is that possible? Freedom, slavery. So, the idea of slavery has a negative connotation. But the idea of being a Dāsa is one is willing to be puppet in the hands of Krishna and serve his will and desire. So Mahatmyam samabodhyat, that leave aside your own whimsical plan making and put shelter in Krishna's plans. Yastasya bhakti siddhanta Saraswati Prabhorguru Atyudara Padam Bhoja Bhulisyam Janma Janmani. And therefore, Srila Saraswati Thakur is glorified. Oh, his lotus feet are, so powerful, merciful. Gurudam Grantadam Gaura Damadam Namadam Muda Bhaktidam Bhuridam Vande Bhakti Vinodakam Sada. Thakur Bhakti Vinod, who gave Gurudam, he is the one who gave Srila Saraswati Thakur. Srila Saraswati Thakur then has given us his disciples and we got Srila Prabhupada. So it's a parampara. Granthadam, Thakur Bhakti Vinod was first to translate all of those books in the English language initially. Lord Chaitanya, His Life and Precepts, that book came to Canada, McGill University. Gauradhamadam, he revealed Lord Chaitanya's birthplace. Namadam gave Harinam Chintamani, the glories of the holy name, the bhajan rahasya, the process of bhajan. Bhaktidam Bhuridam Vande, and so he has demonstrated the process of how one can practice bhakti. Bhakti vinodakam sada. So therefore, when these Brahmana Patnis, they surrender completely to Krishna, Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Dirgha Shruta Dhritashaya. By hearing for a prolonged period, one develops Shraddha, faith. And that's what the Satsangha is supposed to provide. The Satsangha is supposed to provide that platform where we come together and hear in this association Harikatha. And by the process of that hearing, we become purified of lust, we become purified of anger, we become purified of greed. Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nashanam atmana kamam krodham tatha lobham tasmat etat trayam tyajet. One becomes free from these three just by the process of association. Jabat ragadayastena jabat kara griham griham yavat moham grinigado tavat krishna nate jana. Brahmaji has made a mistake. He has been bewildered, and now he is offering his heartfelt prayers at Krishna's lotus feet. My dear Lord, I made a mistake. Because of my pride, I could not recognize the power of the simple-hearted Brajavasis. Materialist things, sophistication is an ornament. But in Braj, simplicity of one's intent to please and serve Krishna in any capacity, that's an ornament. So the Brajavasi boys are not sophisticated, in all kinds of social dealings, in the way they approach, and they are just exuberant, blissful, happy in the way they approach Krishna and serve him. So Brahmaji is seeing how the cowherd boys are bringing various foods from their home, eating some of that, tasting it, then saying, okay, this is very good, Krishna will enjoy. Then giving that remaining to Krishna. And Brahma is thinking, hey, what is this going on? This is weird. This is not how Yajna Bhuk or the Yajnapati is, honored. And then Madhumangal is bringing buttermilk from home. And Krishna is looking at that buttermilk and saying, I want that. And Madhumangal is saying, no. And then he puts the buttermilk in his mouth in one shot. So part of it he gulps down, part of it is stuck here, a lot of it is stuck here. And Krishna comes in front and hits with both of his hands like this, and the buttermilk spurts out like a fountain. So Brahma is looking at all this. As long as the buttermilk comes out, he is not so shocked. But then Krishna opens his mouth and drinks that. Brahmaji faints. And he says, this cannot be him. And so he does his Vimohan Leela. Krishna has performed his Vimohan Leela on Brahma. So now he is expressing, I consider these to be ordinary. Because sometimes because of enhanced jnana, enhanced vairagya, enhanced arthik or financial or political, so many assets, one may have pride, because of which one thinks, I am better than these guys. So Brahmaji is saying, I underestimated them. Because they appeared to be unsophisticated, simple villagers doing weird social dealings. And Krishna looks at Brahma and says, you didn't get it. Brahma, you lost it. And so he says, Yavat ragadayastena. You may have a palace, but If the attachment to Krishna is not there, stenaha, that raga or attachments becomes thief and steals away your consciousness. Javat kara griham griham. And if Krishna is not the center of the home, the griham becomes kara griham. Kara griham is not griham with a car. Kara griham. Javat kara griham griham. Javat moham grinigado. And then one starts thinking in illusion. I'm in control. And it is not just grihastha. It can happen to brahmachari, sannyasi, anybody who's thinking this is my area of service. I am taking care of this. This is my project, this is my temple, this is my zone, this is my this. As soon as you replace Krishna with one's own ego, whoever one may be, wherever one may be, moha, that illusion that I am moving things, nigado, that becomes shackles in the feet. Nigado means shackles, janjeer. Tavat Krishna na te janaha. Tavat Krishna na te janaha. You know, till you put Krishna in the center, you will be experiencing this. Guru Kripa Swami, Prabhupada's disciple, very, very powerful fundraiser. And he did a lot of fundraising in Southeast Asia. And if you go to Krishna Balram temple on the left side, when the Mahaprasad stall is there, as soon as you enter, you will see Prabhupada has expressed his gratitude, and it is chiseled in the marble there, with gratitude to Guru Kripa Swami and Yashodanandan Swami for their contribution of so and so rupees for the construction of the Krishna Balram temple. So there was like a very successful fundraising drive, and when he came back, he started thinking, hey, what these devotees are doing here, just doing chanting and sleeping, and I am the one who's getting the funds and making it happen. He didn't say it, he just saw. But Prabhupada detected it. So in the middle of the night, Prabhupada sent his secretary, call Guru Kripa, wake him up, 1 o'clock at night. Prabhupada is sitting and doing translation. Secretary calls him. Guru Kripa Maharaj, Prabhupada is calling. Prabhupada is calling. 1 o'clock. Are you sure? Yes. He got up, offered obeisance, yes, Srila Prabhupada, you call. Prabhupada said, Guru Kripa, what were you doing? He says, Prabhupada, I was sleeping. Prabhupada said, why were you sleeping? Prabhupada, it is night. It's midnight. Prabhupada said, it is night for me also. I am not sleeping. Why are you sleeping? Prabhupada, I worked hard all day. I'm tired. Prabhupada said, that means I did not work all day. I also worked hard all day. I am not sleeping. Why are you sleeping? Then he thought, Prabhupada, you are a pure devotee. I am not a pure devotee. Prabhupada said, why are you not a pure devotee? So the Paramatma within him started giving him some warnings. He says, Prabhupada, what should I do? Prabhupada said, go back to sleep. So while going back, he was thinking, What did I do right in life? What did I do wrong in life? Then next day in the morning, while chanting, he got the idea that just because I do something and I start thinking I am better than them, even Brahma is not given the permission to remain in Vrindavan. Brahmaji's Vrindavan membership is cancelled. Cancelled. Right? And Brahmaji, but I am citizen. Deported. No questions asked. Right? In America, you understand this language very, very with emotion. Right? So therefore, Brahmaji is now appreciating the Brajvasis and looking from a different perspective at the Brajvasis. Aho bhagyam Nanda Gopa Brajopasam Yanamitram Paramanantam Purna Brahma Sanatanam. These Brajvasis are so fortunate. They consider Krishna to be their own son, own friend, family member. And therefore Krishna takes the devotees' inputs very, very seriously. And so the essence of satsang is we need to be very subservient and humble in serving the devotees and wanting to fulfill their desires. In that mood of servitude only, the Harikatha and our Krishna Naam will have its impact. Otherwise, sadhu sangha means even Nalkuvar and Manigriv saw Narad Muni. Narad Muni is a sadhu, and Nalkuvar and Manigriv had their sangha. But they did not look at Narad Muni as someone positive. Rudrasya anucharau bhutva sudriptau dhanadatmajau Kailasa upavane vanyo mandakinyo madotkatau. So they had such great privileges. Nalkuvar and Manigriv were the first privilege, they were followers of Rudra. Second, they were sons of Kubera. Third, they were in pure place, Kailasa. Fourth, they were bathing in Mandakini. But with all these privileges and opportunities, what was their problem? They misused it. So the misuse of privilege and opportunity is the greatest calamity. The greatest misfortune is the misuse of the opportunity. Because in Mandakini, in Kailas, what they were doing? Varunim Madiram Pitva Mada Ghurnitalochanu Strejanairanugayabhir Cheratu Pushpitevane. So they were completely drunk, intoxicated by Varuni and intoxicated by lust. So therefore, when Narad Muni saw them, Tau Drishtva Madira Mattau Stri Madandhav Suratmajau. Seeing them in that intoxicated state, Narad Muni decides, Tayor Anugraharthaya, for relieving them out of his causeless compassion, Shapam Dasyam Idam Jagav. Then he gave curse. Daridryam paramanjanam. Said, oh, their intoxication is because of wealth. Poverty will be the best medicine. Let them become trees. But then he added a caveat. That since they have seen Narad Muni, and Narad Muni is looking at them and saying, okay, you go in Gokul. So because of Narad Muni saying that you go to Gokul and Krishna will deliver you, so Krishna has to take it seriously. So Krishna's movement is defined by devotees' desire. Deva rishir me priyatamo yadimo dhanadatmajo tattata sadeshyami angeetam tan mahatma. So as Damodar is walking and then he sees Nalkuvar and Manigriv standing there, and then he remembers Narad Muni's words. Risher Bhagavata Mukhyasya Satyam Kartum Vacho Hari. I have to make his words come true. Devarshi Naradas. Jagam Shanakaistatra gradually started moving towards it. Yattastam Yamalarjano, where Yamalarjana was there. So therefore, the Lord is saying, you do not have to wait to become a pure devotee to start preaching Krishna consciousness. At whatever stage you are in, you may say, oh, but I am unqualified. So the acharyas are saying, this is Ukhal. He's a khal. He's a khal means he's a rascal. Ukhal means the grinding mortar. वो तो khal hai. But even if a khal follows the right person and the right path without deviation, the khal gets empowered to deliver. And the khal was not liberated, khal was bound. So even in bound state, you are empowered to liberate others. That means you may be bound, you tell somebody, you chant Hare Krishna, they may go back to it before you. But because of that, your chances of going also increases. It's not like, corporate setup. That somebody gets a job means you lose. So therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, in that particular section, he says, Sadhunam samachittanam sutaram matkritatmanam darshanam no bhavet bandha Pumsah akshnor savituryatha. In front of the sunlight, darkness cannot remain. Pumsah akshnor savituryatha. When the sunlight comes, darkness cannot remain. Similarly, when the devotees, sadhus are there, their kripa is there, bondage cannot remain. As soon as one comes in Satsangha, you should know that the process of liberation has begun. The rope is getting cut. Sometimes it takes long, but the process has begun. Darshanam no bhavet bandha. Just by darshan, bandhan is destroyed. Just like Pumsa Akshnor Savituryatha. The sun is coming in. Automatically it is lighted up. Bhajaner madhye sreshta navavida bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhore mahashakti. Sanatana Goswami is in complete hopeless state. Lord Chaitanya is saying, Are, why you are feeling so hopeless? He says, oh, I cannot do anything in life. I'm useless. Lord Chaitanya is saying, Are, I got so many plans for you. And by giving up life, you do not get bhakti. By doing bhajan, you get bhakti. Taura madhya sarva sreshta nama sankirtan niraprad nama loile pai premadhan. And then in bhakti also you do the harinama sankirtan without offense. That is a process. And therefore, Krishna bhakti, Krishna prema tattvera nirdhar, Vaishnavera kritya ara Vaishnava achar. I want you to write about Krishna bhakti, Krishna prema, Vaishnava sadachar, Vaishnava, dealings. And then Krishna bhakti, Krishna prema, seva pravartan, lupta tirtha uddhar ar vairagya shikshan. And I want you to create temples which will become places for churning love of God. The centers for creating a volcanic eruption of love that you have to create, which are the temples in Braj. Krishna prema seva pravartan. That means a temple is a mechanism by which once you enter, like in factory, input, output, the conditioned soul comes in. Right? So it's like a operation theater. There is a surgery which happens on the heart. And then the transformation happens, and what comes out is, Krishna prema, pure love. Krishna prema comes out. You come in with anarthas, and Krishna prema is the product. That's what temple is supposed to be. Krishna prema seva pravartan. When a devotee, a sadhaka is engaged in seva, that will convert that heart into Krishna prema. And then in Vrindavan, after the attack by Mahmud of Ghazni in 1000 AD, the whole of Vrindavan is finished. Temples which are established by Vajanab have been destroyed. Lupta tirtha uddhar. Excavate the lost holy places of Braj. Or Vairagya Shikshan, and also write about how renounced order should live. Nija Priyasthanamura Mathura Vrindavan. This is my own favorite place. But Matar Agya hai, what to do? My mother has given restrictions on me. I cannot stay in Vrindavan. So therefore I am the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Controller, who is completely helpless in executing this. I need your support to execute and make it happen. So that is the instruction given to Sanatana Goswami. Kalena Vrindavan Kelivartam Lupte Titam Kyapayatum Vishishya Kripamratena Bhishishescha Devas Tatraiva Rupam Cha Sanatanam Cha. In due course of time, the Vrindavan pastimes and the Vrindavan glories were lost. Lupteti. So Lord Chaitanya gave mercy to both of them, Rupa and Sanatan. And because of that flow of mercy, they were empowered to first of all compose literatures of Braj and then to ultimately reveal Braj to the whole world in all of its glory. So therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu empowered Rupa and Sanatan to engage in this activity. And that's what, the whole idea of Satsangha is, that we come in this association to experience the transformation through bhakti. Through that transformation, our anartha nivritti is converted gradually into artha pravritti. And so, Lord Chaitanya, he asks Haridas, Haridas koli kale jaban apar, go brahmana himsa kore mahadurachar. Lord Chaitanya is telling Haridas, Haridas, I am feeling very hopeless. Haridas says, you are feeling hopeless? Says, my dear Lord, what to do? Everywhere I go, Lord Chaitanya is saying, go brahmana himsa kare. Cow is being eaten, all kinds of non-Vedic activities are happening. Yavana achar, Haridasa kohe, Kali kale yavana apar. Yavanas are too many. Nobody is following the Vedic principles. Mahadurachar, their way of life and lifestyle and everything is totally against Vedic principles. And Lord Chaitanya is talking 500 years ago. Pre-internet days. Kali Yuga, which is like 1500 to 1534 AD. No electricity also. Where people would sleep at night. Those were the days. When the night was meant for sleeping and people were sleeping. Because you couldn't do anything at night. Go brahmana himsa kare mahadurachar. So Lord Chaitanya is saying, Iha sabara mata hoi be nistar taha he tunno dekhiye e dukha apar. By seeing how they will be delivered, I am feeling hopeless. So Lord Chaitanya has come from the spiritual world to give Harinam Sankirtan. But the message is, Sanatana Goswami heard from Lord Chaitanya sitting at Varanasi, and then just a few months later he forgot. And he's saying, I will commit suicide. So looks like the channel between knowledge and hope is always completed by Vaishnava Sangha. Because however much knowledge you input, but for that knowledge to connect with hope, you need the Vaishnava Sangha. Otherwise, if the Vaishnava Sangha is missing, if with all the knowledge acquired and given, and being well known as knowledgeable, the most knowledgeable can often become hopeless. Because that knowledge by itself at times becomes inaccessible due to a temporary illusion. So therefore, the way the Lord has managed this is that you will always remain to remain dependent on Vaishnava Sangha. And it has nothing to do with how much I know. You can't know more than Sanatana Goswami. And he is saying, I'm useless. I'm committing suicide. And Lord said, what? What's going on here? No, I'm a burden to this association here. I've got all this pores, pus and this and that and everything, skin infection. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is revealing. It can happen to Sanatan. And then Lord Chaitanya himself is example. Haridas, there is no hope. Haridas is my dear Lord. Hope personified is saying, I am hopeless. You have brought the, ultimate medicine. So therefore, Haridas Thakur now is telling the Lord that Haridasa kohe Prabhu chinta na koriha jabaner samsara dekhi dukha na bhaviha. Haridas is telling Lord Chaitanya, don't worry. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Haridasa kahe Prabhu chinta na koriha. Which means what? Whoever you may be, you always need another devotee outside of yourself. You can't think, I am the only devotee. I will only manage on my own. When I am down, I will manage to come up. And I will only take care of myself. Because I am taking care of everybody. So if I can take care of everybody, of course I can take care of myself. Lord Chaitanya is taking care of whole universe. He is Vishwambar. And Haridas is telling Vishwambar, chinta na kariyo. And other devotees are not saying, hey, don't be proud, Haridas. Why you are telling Lord Chaitanya, chinta na kariyo? What is this? This is offense. How can bliss personified be in chinta? Satchidananda. Ananda Leelamaya Vigrahaya. Ananda Leelamaya Vigraha is saying, I'm in chinta. And Haridas is also taking it seriously and saying, and he's not telling, my dear Lord, good joke. Very nice joke this morning. I will tell Advaita about this. What a nice joke you are cracking, that you are in chinta. So Haridas Thakur is also taking it very seriously. That bliss personified in this world as part of the pastime is showing the nature of this world is you never know when the bubble of anxiety will rise up and bewilder you, even the most powerful. That time, only a third party, another devotee, however neophyte we may think he may be. But if he repeats the words of the Shastra and the Parampara, those words heard from that source will make all the difference. So we should never underestimate anybody thinking, what will he tell me? What will he teach me? How can this person help, that person help? No. We have to be dependent on each and every devotee. Haridasa kahe Prabhu chinta na kariya. Don't be in anxiety. Javana samsara dekhi dukha na bhaviya. Mahapreme bhakta kahe, he Rama, he Rama. When people chant the holy names, they will be delivered. Tulasi ratanke baishya namaskara kori, dware vashi nama suni bole hari hari. So that Vaishya comes and sits near Tulsi and starts chanting. She first only hears. And Haridas Thakur is not giving a whole seminar on glories of holy name. You sit here, and now session 1. No, he's just chanting, but the potency of his sadhana is such that by hearing that, the purity of the intention of Thakur Haridasa's prayer transforms her intention. So the process of transformation is our heart's intention will impact the other person's intention. So to the extent the purity of our intention is increased, to that extent we will be enthusiastic in our inspiration. To that extent we will have impeccable integrity. To that extent we will make intelligent choices. To that extent there will be intensity in our practice and ability to overcome obstacles as we are practicing. And therefore, Thakur Haridas in this way demonstrates through this, lady, and Prasiddha Vaishnavi Hoila Parama Mohanti Bada Bada Vaishnav Tare Darshan Tarayanti. So many Vaishnavas come and they take her darshan because she becomes Prasiddha Vaishnavi. She becomes a very, very famous devotee. Right? And with control of the senses. On a regular basis when she follows that. Tulasi sevana kare, charvan upavas, indriya daman huila premera vikash, premera prakash. So she serves the tulasi. And along with that, she controls her habits. Charvan upavas, and she does fasting and other things. Indriya damana, and when her senses are completely under control. When you say senses under control, what does it refer to? It refers to the fact that one does not have any more intention to be the enjoyer and the controller and exploiter. That's the meaning of sense control. I allow myself to be enjoyed by Krishna and be a servant. So that is the meaning of Indriya Damana. Indriya Damana Hoila Premera Prakash. Then the Prem will manifest. So therefore, we are very fortunate to be in this Vaishnava Satsangha. And let us take this Vaishnava Satsangha very seriously so that we are able to actually experience Kainkarya Krishna Padaika, accepting service to Krishna's lotus feet as our only goal. Bhagavad Bhaktitah Sarvam, taking the process of bhakti as end all and be all. Iti utsrijya vidherapi, and anything which comes in the way of our accepting bhakti or bhakta, may it be our own ahankar or kama, krodha, or any of the other mental hallucinations, utsrijya, we should be willing to give it up. With that, we will experience transformation in our heart. The anarthas will be refined. There will be heart surgery in this temple or the Vaishnava Sangha, and one experiences purity in one's intention. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Gauranga Prabhu ki jai. Would anyone like to ask any questions?
You want to make any comments, my dear friend? Shastrakrit Prabhu. Shastrakrit Prabhu is my old Shiksha Guru. He always tried to inspire me in book distribution. But the more he inspired me book distribution, more I started reading the books only.
Thank you, Prabhu. What a brilliant class. Really empowered to break down the philosophy that even a layman.
I'm only repeating whatever you taught me in LA.
I'm really in awe that, please forgive my familiarity and offenses, like Arjuna said to Krishna. When I see you, so many memories and history of Chaupati and all your sacrifices, your Guru Nishta, your speech is backed by all this, so it's really powerful. What I wanted to ask, without being like personal, but what is your prayer like? Like time is short, we have long ways to go and so much service to do. Even our spiritual masters are getting older, and instead of serving them, we bring more problems to them. So what is a prayer like? Like I go in front of Krishna, I don't even know what to ask, where to start. Like as an empowered soul, like what do you say to Krishna? Like what do you ask? What do we ask?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When you have lots of services and many responsibilities, you get really confused what to ask. So therefore, the best is give Krishna the mandate to decide what is best required for me at this stage. And if only thing to be asked is, please allow me to be controlled by you in all situations without resisting. Then as per situation, he will move things around. But the problem comes when we resist. So therefore, life is dynamic, and you are right. The movement is growing older. There is a generational change. The next 10 years are going to be very, very challenging. One has to be prepared for the change. So we have to, my prayer is, please prepare me for any change which may happen anytime. So empower me to be able to serve anyone, anywhere, anytime. Because we are really in that situation. Because we are directly in touch with a lot of senior Prabhupada disciples who have lots of unlimited, unfulfilled desire. And they are looking to offload and give their legacy and their last will to people, So it's really serious. So only Krishna can empower the ability to serve. So at least let us be open to the idea of serving and pray to the Lord to allow us to serve anyone, anytime, anywhere, without resisting. You got it? So that is the prayer. Because sometimes you're doing something and then suddenly something else comes up and says, okay, Can you do this? Can you do this as a priority? And sometimes it's like a group of senior people, and by default we are Indian, so saying no is difficult. And then when so many people come up and say, then you're sorry. But I'm already doing this also. So then you realize that Krishna is time factor and Krishna is energy factor. Krishna is all the factors. So he only will have to manipulate his energies to make it happen. Otherwise, it's beyond now regular intellectual strategic thinking, how it will all fit in. So you reach a point where you say, the only way we can do this is by Krishna Shakti. So you reach a point where you lose complete faith in your karma Shakti. And then you become only dependent on Krishna Shakti. Krishna Shakti vina nahi tara pravartan. So then that becomes the priority. Because till some stage, you still have faith, okay, my intelligence, my this, that, everything will work. But then you reach a stage where, to ho gaya, sar ke uppar pani gaye. Hare Krishna. Take me through this day. So then you start living day to day. So what is in my mind? Only today. What is in my mind now? I have to end the class. Why? Because I see Raj there, waiting to drive me to the next destination. So I'm only thinking how I will go from here to his place. I have not even started thinking who's sitting there. So spend the moment with Krishna and allow him to lead you. That's how situation will become in due course of time. Okay? And so your Guru Maharaj is sitting right here, so you go and ask him, how can I serve you? And then you will get a list. I went to Gita Nagari. I spent 3 days with him. His Holiness Devamrit Maharaj is also very close Shiksha Guru of mine, and we connect very well because he's also from Yale, and he likes IIT. Any question? Any other? Yeah.
No, Prabhu, you define
Hare Krishna. So thank you very much, Prabhuji, for this wonderful morning session. So question is, Prabhuji, you define who is Patit. So someone who doesn't know about the Vedic life.
Or who knows?
No, my question is, who doesn't know.
Okay.
So
He's better off. He's
better off, right?
Yeah. He's innocent, and therefore he can take to it quickly.
Okay. And the second question is, you gave an example of Ukhal, like, can, even if you are not qualified, you can still preach. So, can Patit preach?
Well, if you are a hypocrite, then there are severe challenges. You'll only confuse people. Right? So Patit has a tendency for not practicing what he's knowing and teaching. So there are severe challenges in that. But maybe if he teaches and preaches, and then the person he preaches to, then he gets on his case. Hey, you told me this, why you are doing it? Maybe that may have a good effect. And he may stop. So then that may, you can say, but it's risky. Right? If Patit is honest that I am telling you this, but I also have this problem, then that's safer. So you only said, can Patit preach? I said, yes, but with caveat. Okay. Yes, Mitesh bhai.
We have a question.
You have moved to Atlanta?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay.
You shared about divisions, four associates. I recall the Kinchan and Saralta. I can't recall the other two. I don't know if you mentioned or if I didn't.
Akinchanatvam, Ananyagatitvam, Saralta and Shakti. All powerful. Because he has Shakti, so he can afford to be Saral. He doesn't have to do any background check because he can control any situation. We can't do that. You have to follow the process. Even the initial days of ISKCON, there was no requirement. Anybody could walk in, this, that. Now we can't afford. Some old timers sometimes argue with me, hey, what kind of new ISKCON you are running? You are saying minimum qualification for joining temple is this. This is not how Prabhupada started that. He built a house for the whole world to live. So we get into this kind of debate sometimes. But now there was no security department in like an ISKCON temple in the initial days. 26 seconds, anybody could walk in. Now you have like 150 security cameras, like 45 security guards and this and that. That's a new reality of today's situation in temples in India. So things are dynamic. You can't just now say that, oh, koi bhi hai. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you had a last question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, very wonderful class. Prabhuji, just my question was basically you mentioned that be in the present and offer a prayer to the Lord, right? Krishna. This, as you modern age, even though we are chanting, we are doing some devotional service, mind always goes somewhere. Means that devotional service is not becomes a devotional service. How to keep our mind in presence, which we are serving to do. Any service which
With repeated practice only it will come. Abhyasena dharante vairagyana chikriyate. You cannot, shorten the learning curve. So that's why bhakti has to be done over a period of time. Right? You cannot expect something to happen overnight. That example of the rope is given. The rope keeps on the stone of the well, it makes a mark. So therefore, you have to keep the process of practice going on. Mriyamano harirnam granna putropacharitam ajamilopi agaddham kim punah shraddhaya granam. Ajamil just shouted at the time of death. Second, Ajamil called out his son. Third, Ajamil was still not following principles. Fourth, Ajamil never heard glories of holy name. Still he got a second chance. So if you continuously chant Krishna's name, call out to Krishna, follow the four principles, and hear glories of holy name and have faith, how much more benefit you will get.
Hare Krishna.
Ajamilopi agaddhama kim punah shraddhaya granam. Right? So therefore when Raghunath Das Goswami say, he became impatient, I want to come with you, my dear Lord. Rakshakera hatamoy kemone chutiba. Kemone prabhur sange nilachale jab. I want to come with you to Nilachal. Lord Chaitanya says, Sthira hoiya. Ghare jao. Go home. No, how batul. Don't become mad. Don't become crazy. Batul means crazy. Krame krame payaloka bhava sindhu kul. Krame krame. You have to follow the process. And the example is given of swimming. If you start swimming, there is nothing creative in swimming. There are the same strokes of the hand, same strokes of the leg. Is it not? That stroke with the hand and the leg will push you ahead by 2 feet. For the next 2 feet, what you have to do? So you go 4 feet. Next 2 feet, what else you do? And after 6 feet, you think, boring here. Let me do some somersault in the water. And then after, half a kilometer, you look and see, where is the shore? Till the shore reaches, you have to go on doing what? Same thing. Krame krame pay loka bhava sindhu kul. Krame krame. Same thing. Therefore Prabhupada said Krishna consciousness is simple but not easy. Just like swimming. Simple but not easy. And therefore, what is the process Lord Chaitanya says? Antare nishthakara bahya loka vyavahar ochire koribe Krishna tumara uddhar. Have your faith within. Antare nishthakara. Inside you should have conviction in the process of the Krishna consciousness. Bahya loka vyavahar. Externally you do your regular whatever you are doing, your job and this and that and taking care of family. Follow your responsibilities. And then Krishna will get impressed with your consistency. And your intensity. Okay? So therefore, absorption in sadhana, intensity in seva, and sensitivity in Vaishnava sadachar. All these three will ultimately attract Krishna's grace, and then you will see transformation drop by drop. Okay? Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.